Well, I first heard about EFT from some other people that were practitioners and people that were counselors and trainers, and telling me how valuable and useful it was. I had been doing something called the 5-minute phobia cure that Roger Callahan had invented, but I'd only been using it for phobias. And then when EFT came along, it became clear that you could use the technology for dealing with negative beliefs, dealing with emotions that were unwanted. And for me, it was, as I got into law of attraction more and started realizing that in order to attract, you needed to be in a space of love, joy, abundance, and forgiveness, and so that you're in a high vibrational place, because we attract to us things that are resonating at the same harmonic, that I wanted a technology that would help people release any negativity as fast as possible. And so I was looking really actively for those and found a number of things, but I think EFT has been the most easily teachable and applicable for the general public of anything I've discovered. Well, probably the greatest kind of turning point for me, there's a man named Martin Leszkolnik who lives in Austria. He's a practitioner of EFT, and he took one of my public seminars, and we were doing work on releasing negativity and anger and fear and things from the past. And he came up to me on the break and said, you know, there's an easier way to do this. and you can do it with more people quicker, and it doesn't require all the cathartic release work that I was doing at the time. And so I said, great, why don't you come to my room and show me tonight? Because I didn't want to put him up on the stage without having seen it. And he worked with several issues of mine, one of belief and one wanting the desire to lose more weight, but I wasn't. And so we started tapping, and all of a sudden I felt totally different inside. I mean, there was literally a palpable, perceptual, sensory shift about how I was feeling. And so I asked him to, the next day, do some work with the group. And he does it so lightly and so with so much humor. I mean, you know, when you first learn a technique, you're trying to do it perfectly. And he was just we were all laughing at ourselves by the end of it, and just so much release occurred, so many things people let go. Well, every time we want to go to a place better than where we are, there are blocks inside that have stopped us, or we'd already be there. And these blocks, most often, in my experience, I won't say always, but probably very close to always, seem to come from where I had an experience that I didn't complete. So basically, energy is supposed to flow through us as a waveform. You know, it just comes in. The word emotion, energy in motion. And so we say we're emotionally moved by something. So when I allow myself to be moved and feel what it is and let it pass through me, then there's no blockages. But let's say my dog dies and my father says to me, you know, come on, son, stop crying, be a man. Well, this crying, this releasing, this grieving that was natural got blocked. And to block it, I have to shut down on it. I have to tighten up against it. That's why people that are uptight literally have a lot of emotion they haven't shared. They've tightened up not to feel it, because it means they're going to get in trouble, they'll be rejected by their parents or whatever. So literally, as we begin to open up to new possibilities and want to go further, these things that have been incomplete in our life come up to the surface to be dealt with, you know, or to hold us back, because it's trying to protect us. And so we have to release those, or we'll stay stuck. Well, if you want to create a better future for yourself and have more abundance, prosperity, and health, if you're holding on to resentments and to anger and blame, you know, what happens is that you're creating a low vibration. You're literally living in the past, for one thing. You're focusing. I do this demonstration in my seminar where I walk off the stage that way. Say, I'm walking into the future, but I'm looking at the past. I can't see the future very well. I bump into things on purpose, you know. But the idea is I want all of my attention focused on that which I want to create. I want to be fully present in the moment, but with my intention on what is my creating here and also in the future. So if I'm holding on to resentment and anger towards someone in the past for what they did or didn't do, or even guilt for myself, which is a form of resentment toward yourself, based on my expectations that you or I should have been different than I was, then what happens is I'm not focusing on my positive outcomes. And literally, we can only think about one thing at a time. So basically, the way I demonstrate it is that, like, if I take this book here, if I'm holding this book, then what happens is someone comes to give me something, I can't take it because my hands are already full. So I need to let go of whatever it is, release literally what I've been holding on to, and let it go so that I have a capacity to receive that which is wanting to come into my life, that which I preferred and desired and intended and set goals around and so forth. So when I forgive someone and literally let them go, then I'm more present. So too many people are walking around, you know, with their hands full of what you should have done, what you didn't do. And it was, in my own life, it was very important. I grew up with an alcoholic mother and a workaholic father who also drank quite a bit. And it took me years in the old methodologies of letting go of that. And now we have more of these, you know, fast working with the energy systems ways to release things. You know, I've used it on myself, used it with my family. My wife, her father committed suicide when she was 8. And when I met her, she was still holding on to that very tremendously. And now she's been able to release all that. And then the natural aliveness comes forward because we're like trying to shake reality to be what we want it to be, you know, or it can't change the past. So by releasing the past, then I'm here and then I can be with whatever's present and create what I want.